Hello again and welcome to another 140k, what I'm tenuously going to call Tactics video. Because today guys, we're going to be doing a little bit of a meme list review. Because as you are watching this video, I am actually running the list that you see in front of you, the army that you see in front of you, at a tournament. Through the magic of cinema, you are watching me talk about the list whilst I am using the list. It's not actually magic, I just pre-recorded the video and then uploaded it and then scheduled YouTube to release it. So sadly it's a bit mundane. But anyway, the magic of cinema. So I want to talk about the list that I'm taking to the one-day event that I'm actually at today, Sunday the 26th. Now, this list was put together as part of a channel membership challenge. Now, if you're not aware, I've recently started doing channel membership. You get a few cool little perks. And one of the things that I did with the first channel members, and then I did it again with the later channel members to make sure that everyone was on board, is I said, what list do you want me to take? Scions or just a pure tank meme list? And both times, pretty much just universally, everyone was like, take the tank meme list, take the tank meme list. So that's what we've gone for. So it's really interesting. I actually put this together initially well before we knew anything about point or balanced data slates or new secondaries or anything like that. And if you don't believe me, go and check out my Warhammer community post. Go and check out my Instagram posts. I'm not doing this to take, the fact that Russ have now got Armour of Contempt. But let me tell you, I'm fucking glad they do have Armour of Contempt, because this list just went from being memey to weirdly maybe sort of half decent, which is kind of crazy to me. I mean, this is still a meme list, but it might actually kill some things. And I don't actually expect to win any games, but if I actually manage to win a game, that would be insane, because it's just 10 tanks, guys. You can see it in front of you. This is it. 10 tanks, and then I had a few points left over, so I took a tech boost Enginseer because I figured I might actually repair something. I don't know if I will, but I might. So it's kind of crazy, but this is the list that I'm running today, and I like to do these pre-list sort of videos, because then what I do is I do the tournament after action report, and I can link to this video at the end of that. So that's what we're doing in today's video. It doesn't require much list review, but I thought it'd be a bit of fun and good opportunity to get you guys hyped for the after action report. So let's just dive straight into what this list is. There's 10 Leman Russes. They're all in a Spearhead. That means all of the Russes now get OBSEC. That's right, they might only count as one model, but they still get OBSEC. So if someone hasn't got OBSEC, I'm just going to drive onto objective and take it off them. Hey! I bet that's going to catch at least one person out at this event. I bet you. I'll let you know in the after action report, but I bet you it catches someone out. Now, you might notice that these tanks are in two different colours. I'm not taking two different regiments. I've just had to pull together quite a lot of Leman Russes to make this list happen. So these are from, the ones in green or blue are from my Mordian 50th Rifles, and the ones in tan are from my Armageddon Steel Legion 234th. So that's just so you know why they're different colours. Now, let's start off with the units. First thing we've got is a tank commander, and that is the guy in the front here in the green and blue tank with the flag sticking out the back, and he's got what I call an El Clasico pattern Leman Russ. The El Clasico is just it's the old boxy style Leman Russ, but it also it's kind of a reference to the fact that in the old like channel artwork, not channel, sort of Imperial Guard artwork and photographs, they always used to have Leman Russes with this configuration. So it's got a battle cannon, a Lascannon, 2 heavy bolters, and I thought, hell, I've got an old retro storm bolter, I'll just slap that on top as well. So that's what that guy's got. I've then got another tank commander, and he's got, and this is the guy in the back left with the red beret on sticking out, pointing forward, and he's got battle cannon, las cannon, plasma cannons, and the storm bolter as well. So those are the two tank commanders that are the two HQ choices that I can fit in a Spearhead. Now, ideally, I'd like them all to be tank commanders, but, beggars can't be choosers, and, this is just kind of a bit of a fun list. I did think about maybe taking it in like a battalion, but then I'd have to start taking infantry, and that would kind of lose the theme of the list. And look, this isn't a competitive list, guys. This is just a fun list, and it's going to be kind of cool to do this video now and then see how it actually did on the day. So, those are my two tank commanders. I've then got, we'll cover the tanks in green at the front. I then got two more, I've got one squadron of Leman Russes, and that squadron of Leman Russes has got 2 more El Clasico tanks in there, 2 battle cannons, 2 las cannons, 4 heavy bolters, 2 storm bolters. And then we've also got an El Clasico demolisher. Now, this is a demolisher, a really old school, it's like mostly metal demolisher tank. It's the first Leman Russ I ever owned, and it's got 2 plasma cannons, a las cannon, a demolisher cannon, and a storm bolter. Now, I know, and I really wish I could get the triple heavy flamer on this bad boy and have him driving up there and being a bruiser tank. But the problem is that I swear to God, guys, I have literally banged this tank against the side of the table to try and get those sponsors off, and they just won't come off. I bought this tank second hand. I have no idea what the guy put together, but it's literally indestructible, and hopefully it will also be indestructible in game. So that's why it's got those weapon loadouts. It's kind of annoying because it's got those, all these old Russes have got these loadouts and they're not optimum at all, but I feel like I have to take them for just rule of cool and to respect the age that these tanks have been serving the guard. Because these green tanks at the front, guys, every single one of them has been serving my army for a minimum of 10 years. Most of them 15, and one of them, that Demolish tank, has been in my army for almost 20 years. So those are the green tanks at the front. We've got the green tank commander and the 3 other tanks in that squadron. Now, the way that squadrons work, guys, in case you don't know, is you deploy them all at the same time. So I'm going to deploy the Demolisher and the 2 regular El Clasicos down at the same time. They've got to be within, it's like 3 or 6 inches of each other. But after that, they get to act independently. They've just got to deploy at the same time. Now, moving on to the tan tanks at the back. Now, I've already covered the one on the far left, the guy with the red beret sticking out. He's tank commander. So I'm going to work my way from left to right to cover the other tanks. I've got another regular Leman Russ. This has got a battle cannon, it's got triple heavy bolter, and it's got a heavy stubber on the top. And to be honest, guys, this is just a fun tank. Again, this is not a particularly optimum tank, but I figured this one actually has quite a decent rate of fire and might actually be able to take some pretty serious advantage of Hammer of the Emperor. Also, I was kind of running out of points, and I know I could drop the tech priest and get something better, but then I would have literally had like 20 points left over, so I figured, screw it, I'll just take triple heavy bolter. It's fine, it's not a bad whatsoever, the rate of fire is okay. So, moving on, we've then got 2 more tanks, and these are in the same squadron as that battle cannon one, and we've got plasma cannons on the top, plasma cannons on the side, and a whole heavy bolter in the front. Good old plasma executioner tanks. I think these guys are going to do quite well. I think they're going to do better than the battle cannon tanks, which is worrying because half of my tanks are battle cannon tanks. But I think they're going to do better simply because they've got that AP3, which is going to be like really, really helpful. We're also then moving on. We've got probably the only 2 actually like good tanks in the army, which are the Demolisher tanks, and I've got 2 Demolishers with triple heavy flamer and Demolisher on top, and they're in their own little sort of 2-man bruiser squadron. And that is the configuration of the tanks. Now, in terms of Warlord traits, Relics, Regiment traits, and all that kind of stuff, I'm taking a custom Regiment trait with this list. I'm taking Gunnery Expert, so I get to reroll all the random number of shots, which is really, really good on those battle cannons, on those plasma cannons, on those heavy flamers, on those Demolisher cannons. You know, every tank is actually taking advantage of that, which is really, really good. And I also took Jurry rigged repairs because I did think about going for spot details to give me the extra 6-inch range, but to be honest, guys, if I look at the majority of my tanks, the majority of them have got long range. Out of the 10 tanks, only 3 of them have got Demolisher cannons. The rest of them have all got weapons with a minimum range of 36 inches. They don't really need the extra range. So I thought, let's take a trait that affects all of the tanks, and that's Jurry rigged repairs. Now, I like Jurry rigged repairs because it adds another layer of durability buff. For those that don't know, at the beginning of the turn, if you've got a damaged tank, you roll a dice. On a 2 to 4, you regain a wound. On a 5 to 6, you regain D3 wounds. On a 1, nothing happens. Now, that's really nice, because if you take the fact that I've got a 2+ save, if you take the fact that I've got Arm of Contempt, and you take the fact that I self-repair, these Russians are starting to get in really, really quite durable. And it means, back in the day, Jurry repairs wasn't very good because Russians just used to die, right? But now, with these buffs, I often find that my Russes kind of live on like a few wounds, or maybe just 1 wound below a certain like shooting bracket. So that's really good if they can self-repair that 1 wound and get straight into the next bracket. It saves me on Relentless and saves me on the Jurry rigging stratagem, which is important because this list starts with precisely 1 CP after the current change. You see, I start with 6. I'm taking a Spearhead, which means I don't recoup my CP, which means I start with 3. And then I've taken a Warlord, and I've given him, which is going to be the 2 tank commands. I've taken a Warlord and made him a tank case, and I've taken another tank case. So, and both those tank cases have got Steel Commander, so they can each do an extra order. So each one of these tanks are actually doing 2 tank orders rather than just the usual 1. And that means that I spent a CP on a Warlord trait and a CP on an extra tank case, which means I start with 1 CP, which isn't ideal. And then lastly, I've got on the flag guy, he's got my Relic, and he's going to have Kurovs Aquila to try and get me a few CP back. And lastly, but not leastly, I've got the tech boost. I figured he actually might get a chance to repair something, which is pretty good. And weirdly, he can do actions. He can just like run around like raising banners and stuff, which is like kind of okay actually. So that is the list basically. It's a bit of fun. It's kind of, you know, thank you to the channel members for making me take this absolute meme list. And if you're interested in becoming a channel member and being able to like influence the direction of the channel and what list that I take, then click the join button down below on this video, sign up and become a channel member, because you get to take part in like the polls and that kind of stuff that let you sort of make me take this meme list. Hell, maybe next time I'll be running 3 or 4 Baneblades. Who knows? But that's it for today, guys. Now, before we sign off, I just want to take a moment to say a huge thank you to all of the channel members and Patreon supporters. It's thanks to their very generous support that I'm now doing Mordian Glory full-time. That's right, YouTube is my full-time gig. It's crazy. I never thought this would be the case, but it's amazing. It's life-changing. So massive thank you to all of the channel members and Patreon supporters. And I want to do a shout-out to our latest channel member and Patreon supporters. So thank you to Ayanami Forever, Lincoln Games, Springy Shelf, David De Los Santos, Thomas Gilliam, Alex Hilston, BMO, Tucker Swain, Alex Wargamer, Bob the Gene Stealer, JP Greer, R. Pate, Lee Whitehouse, Commissar Drago, Steve T, Timothy Nodorita, another Tim, I'm also a Tim, Restoring Standard Bearer, Craig Mitch, Zarkin, Matt Wilson, Joseph Masisco, Jonathan Udby, Christopher Miller, Kai Tilley, Mr. Wright, Rise Warben, General Psychotic, and probably Coco for becoming channel members. That's a big old list. It's popping off, boys. I have to say, channel membership is popping off. And if I'm at about 90 channel members at the moment. If I get to 100, I'm going to do a 24-hour painting live stream. So if you're interested in making that happen, you know what to do. Also, a huge thank you to our latest Patreon supporters as well. So thank you to Ben Thorne, Alan Harfin, Marcus Roberts, Timothy Jägermeister, Jesse Cashman and Nick Walsh for signing up to the channel membership. Now, I also want to do a personal, heartfelt thank you to our top tier Patreon supporters, those that have subscribed at the Lord General or Commissar level. It's thanks to these guys, those people that have really gone above and beyond for their support to the Mordian Glory channel, that I'm able to, like I say, do this full time and make all these improvements, go to these tournaments, do all this crazy thing, and just do Mordian Glory. So thank you to Guardian Varney, thank you to John Stubbs, thank you to Nicholas Walsh, and thank you to Swordfish Trombone for being Lord Generals, and thank you to Diesel Fox and Shooter McGavin for being Commissars. You guys know how important your support is to me, and I'm truly grateful, guys. I know I sometimes maybe make too much of a deal out of this, but it's just honest. It's massive. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who supports me. Thank you to everyone who's watched, liked, subscribed, and all that good stuff. But of course, as always, we'll wrap it up there, and I'll see you guys next time.